Deep down in the southern hemisphere of southern Africa, there's a tribe called the Yeyi people. In the following documentary, we look at the untold stories of the Yeyi people, their origin, their first interactions with other tribes, the slavery that took place, what action was taken by the government, and the relationship of Yeyi and Botswana currently. In search of the history of the Yeyi people, our journey takes us to Gumare village, a growing village found in the northern western part of Botswana. If one is not flying, a private car would take 12 hours and 4 minutes from the capital city of Botswana, Gaborone. Roughly the distance is 1,000 kilometers when using the A3 route. Gumare is found in Ngamiland West, which had a population of about 59,000 people in 2011. Among the tribes that are found here are the Baherero, the Bambukushu, Basubiya, Bagereku, and Basara, and other Tswana-speaking tribes. According to oral tradition, the Yeyi immigrated from the kingdom of the Lozi people in the 18th century and were led into Ngamiland by the skilled fisherman and hunter Hankunzi. When the Yeyi met the Bakapwe people, Hankuzi married one of the women, possibly as a guarantee of peace. A number of immigration waves followed. The Yeyi learned many of the Bakapwe's survival skills, including new fishing techniques, while the Yeyi were credited for coming up with the specialty of making the canoe, normally called the mokoro by the natives. The Yeyi had a maternal succession. The inheritor of a kingdom is the son of a sister to the king. The Yeyi believed in a creator god who lived among humans. One day the god became angry with the humans for their wickedness and went to heaven. He does not interfere much with the world except for throwing down the occasional thunderbolt. The Yeyi also had connections to the Lozi in the north and traded tobacco from iron with them. Iron was important in the Yeyi economy for producing spearheads and tools to kill wild animals. In the early 19th century, the Botswana tribe known as Batawana arrived in the Ngamiland. After their arrival, many of the Yeyi became serfs of the Batawana. According to Okavango Kopano Mokoro community tribe, this servitude was voluntary in many cases as it offered protection to attach oneself to a powerful household. There, a village junior chief of one of the biggest wards in Gumare had this to say.
Nerina di khoshe kholo bo matsharathara bo sankuze di khoshe kholo tsa Yeyi ne le matsharathara sankuze le khungwe
used to have paramount chiefs, the likes of Matsaratsa, Sankuze, Tungu. Their generations are even there, the likes of Uzu. When the Batawana came from the central, that's when we lost our chieftainship.
Ukhoshi jwa rona be bonyelela ha ba hetwa yano abe na bone di khoshi kholo tsa rona ba ne ba tshwanetse go ba hiketsa ba Yeyi ne ba sa bala Batawana ha ba tswa kwa ke batho ba ne ba le mo ntwe ba ntse ba taba.
They managed to do so because they manipulated the Yeyi who were by that time did not know how to read or write, let alone have fought before.
Ba Yeyi ne ba sa etse sepe ka hore gona le motho o ka twe kana le dikgoshi tsa bone ne ba sa ba shupetse hore ke dikgoshi kholo ba ka ba gatelela nya.
When they took over, they made sure the Yeyi worshipped. Originally as Yeyi, we were used to staying with our chiefs just like any other family. We did not take them as gods. The Batawana wanted us to bow to them, to respect them.
Batira ba Yeyi hore ba tshwane le ntja ka ntja ha bona mongana ta e khomile bora e wela wa hatsi mola iboko ibili ka maida mogata ya ba dira rona ba Yeyi ya no re hetuhe re ba idele megatala ka ntja ya.
When asked about why a lot of Baei do not know how to speak their own language, the village elder had this to say.
Batsadi ba rona ba re ba tshwaro ba thathelwa mo dikgolegelong ba thathelelwa hore ke ha ba re ba batla ho ruta bana Yeyi.
Our parents got arrested for teaching their children the Yeyi language.
We then asked to never speak our own language.
They wanted us to speak there.
Le hore sa ka bua Yeyi jana ha esale ke bone ka batsadi ba me ba kopetswa ho sa bua.
The reason I cannot speak Yeyi right now is that my parents were arrested for teaching us. My grandfather Uzu was arrested as well. Salipito too got arrested just to stop him from teaching us his nephew's Yeyi. Petros Sedisa was a victim too. Rangusa at Spopa also got arrested.
Ko Spopa ra go Rangusa e motona. Jano dikga tsa gona jalo di re thokisitse gore le rona se ka bera thola re bua Yeyi ka ne re le mo letshogo.
Even the British that colonized Botswana at that time supported the motion of Batawana, refusing us to speak our language.
Mo ke dumela gore gompeno mo puso ya batho ka ba nya ke bona gore go botoka e bile ano ra e pusulusetsa no re batla go ithuta bana ba rona ra ba ruta dingwao tsa rona di a binone ko ga borone ko state out kana state out stand house ba bitswa ba go bina ko me ba bua Yeyi ba bina dipina tsa Yeyi. Ke dumela re ko bohelelong gongwe le jone bogoshiwa ba e bota boela mo tiriso ka ga ke motho a na le morahi o kana bo tha kwa na le kgoshikolo wa ona ha ke dumela gore go kana jang.
Before we continue in seeking further knowledge about the Baei people, let us visit some elders in Gumare as they talk about the different foods they enjoyed feasting on. There are many ways of cooking a fish. It can be cooked with fee or by just using water. While the white men debones the fish before they cook it, we cook the fish first and remove the bones later. Then we pound it till tender. It is a very delicious meal. Women would go and collect water lily flowers. The inside parts of it will then be cooked. People did not get sick easily because this kind of meal were highly nutritious. During the rainy season, there were a lot of wild fruit to be eaten as well. These wild fruits could be dried and be kept for future consumption. Elder Bikuto also talked about the Yeyi dishes. Back then, we used to eat a lot of food coming from the desert. Water lily tubes,
nguma,
le
dithapi,
fish,
le tita, ke ja koma,
papyrus
root, ka hata seng hala hatsi, a botete jwa metsi.
And ate makungara as well. These are the foods that my parents brought me up with. I would eat soga, soft porridge. We used to eat corn.
Mabele abilwa mayere kana ko yone
back then there were no wildlife
no sena di khanedi tsa diphologolo nama ene ke ja ka
so I ate with hunted meat
o tswa ho no ho jiwa dinthwa lo di te yara di na mo
we also ate
kukubele
they usually stay in anthills
di latela lesedi la molelo di jo tsene di nkota te di nkutile.
In pursuit of another source of information, Our search for answers led us to an association which is a non-governmental organization with objectives of maintaining and developing the Yeyi culture.
But before we go there, let us visit a village which is 30 kilometers away from Guma, Eta 7V, a village well renowned for its people who are full of artistry excellence, mostly made of Mbukushu tribe.